such a tranquil society as this produce such willful carnage? The suspect in custody has been named by Norwegian media as Anders Behring Breivik, 32 years old, born and grew up in Norway. He's been charged with acts of terrorism.
He's not known by the police before, so we have not arrested him before or anything like that. On his website, as you probably have seen, he tells himself to be a Christian and going to the right.
Police searched the suspect's apartment within hours of the shooting, hunting for clues. They're starting to build up a picture of a man with deeply intolerant views towards immigration and what he saw as his government's lax policies. His social networking page on Facebook, only recently set up, names his interests as bodybuilding and Freemasonry. His account on Twitter posts a quote from the philosopher John Stuart Mill, saying, "One person with a belief is equal to the force of 100,000 who have only interests." Police also searched the farm he set up outside Oslo to grow fruit and vegetables. It's alleged he bought 6 tons of fertilizer, a possible explosive ingredient, before yesterday's bombing in Oslo. In the shattered centre of the Norwegian capital, the army has been deployed. Britain, amongst other nations, has offered intelligence help. But now this appears to be a case of homegrown political extremism. It's more a case of what others can learn from Norway's tragic experience.
We'll want to make sure that we learn, like others, any lessons there are to learn about how to be more secure against horrific outrages like this. And that's something we can discuss at the National Security Council on Monday.
For Norway, there is now a burning question. Were these the acts of a lone fanatic, or are there other right-wing extremists waiting to copy his bloody example? Frank Gardner, BBC News.
Well, earlier my colleague John Sopel spoke to Vivian Paulson, a spokesperson for the Red Cross in Norway, who explained how they were trying to help in the aftermath of the attacks.
It's an appalling tragedy that's hit the whole of the nation, and the Red Cross is doing everything it can to support both those directly affected and those who aren't directly affected but still feel it. So we have opened Red Cross centres all over Norway where people can go and get support, and we're also helping in the search mission for the missing people, as well as giving psychosocial support at the hotel where the youth and the relatives have gathered.
And although, of course, you train for all of this, I suspect none of you ever imagined that you're going to be doing this on home soil.
No, this is totally unbelievable. Norwegians are not used to having such attacks in Norway, and but we are well prepared. Red Cross is working with the National Emergency Services, and we're working very, very closely, and we're helping as many as we can.
Let's talk about those who've been affected by it directly first of all. What sort of help are you able to offer? What sort of needs are they going to have?
They're going to have long-term needs. These are young people mostly, if we're talking about the youth camp, who are down to like 15 years old, who were literally hunted down to be killed. So many of them will be traumatized, they will need help. We are going to be there and give them support. We are giving them psychosocial support right now. We were there all through the night and all through the day, and we will be there in their hometowns. Now they are being driven home. The first people are coming home tonight, and the Red Cross in the local area are there to welcome them and to take care of them.
Yeah, and I would imagine I interviewed one of those survivors a little earlier on today, and I was just struck by how calm she was, how measured she was, and I just wonder whether that is a sign that maybe the shock of what she's gone through hasn't set in yet.
People react differently, but that is quite possible that it hasn't set in yet. I mean, our volunteers have been telling us about some people just need to tell the whole story from the start to the finish, what happened on the island. Other people are busy thinking about, I have no shoes because my shoes are left on the island. So people react in very different ways. And the most important thing is to be there and to care for each other. We can care about the neighbors, the children, everybody, and just take care of each other.
I also suspect it's going to be hard work for some of you people as well, where you may have lost loved ones, and you were saying a moment ago that, some of the senior people have lost people that they knew.
Norway isn't a big country, and there were many hundred youth in this camp from all over the country, and of course people in part of the rescue work is also having support for them so that they can get through this in the long term.